2 years after October 7th, the Middle East faces a defining moment. Hamas wants a permanent ceasefire. Israel hesitates. Trump's peace plan hangs by a thread, and Qatar admits implementation is collapsing. The question now, is anyone truly ready to stop this war? As Gaza ceasefire talks proceed in Egypt, Hamas has detailed its main conditions in the ongoing talks. Fawzi Barhoum, the group's spokesperson, said its delegation is seeking to overcome all obstacles to reach an agreement that meets the aspirations of our people in Gaza. According to a report by Al Jazeera, Barhoum made it clear that Hamas seeks a permanent and comprehensive ceasefire and the complete withdrawal of Israeli forces from all of Gaza.
Believing in our national responsibility toward our people and their legitimate rights, the movement has dealt responsibly with all ceasefire proposals over the past 2 years, the most recent of which was the proposal by U.S. President Donald Trump. The movement's delegation participating in the current negotiations in Egypt seeks to overcome all obstacles to achieving an agreement that meets the aspirations of our people and our people in Gaza, foremost among which are a permanent and comprehensive ceasefire, complete withdrawal of the occupation army from all areas of the Gaza Strip, unrestricted entry of humanitarian and relief aid, ensuring the return of displaced to their areas of residence, the immediate start of the comprehensive reconstruction process under the supervision of a Palestinian national body of technocrats, and concluding a fair prisoner exchange deal.
Barhoum accused Netanyahu of seeking to obstruct and thwart the current round of negotiations, as he had deliberately thwarted all previous rounds.
Despite the brutal military force, unlimited support, and full American partnership in the war of extermination in Gaza, they have not and will not succeed in achieving a false image of victory.
Later on October 7th, the armed wing of Hamas said that captives will not be released except through an exchange deal in which Israel commits to ending the war.
All Palestinian factions will spare no effort to find a way to end the war and the suffering of Palestinians. The weapon of resistance exists to liberate the land and fight the enemy, and it will not be sheathed until these two goals are achieved.
Meanwhile, Israeli opposition leader Yair Lapid said that there is more than a hint of optimism in the air, despite the fact that today marks 2 years since Hamas's October 7th, as ceasefire talks based on US President Donald Trump's ceasefire proposal continue in Egypt. Lapid told CNN's Oren Lieberman in Tel Aviv,
"I think the 20-point plan that President Trump and his team put on the table is tangible and doable."
However, a former Israeli consul, Alon Pinkas, told CNN on October 7th of his concern about Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's commitment to the 20-point peace plan set out by US President Donald Trump, saying that he believes the agreement is unwanted by Netanyahu. Speaking to Audie Cornish on CNN, Pinkas said Netanyahu was being cornered into accepting the plan. He then drew attention to Israel's ongoing assault on Gaza and questioned why a ceasefire has not already been actioned.
Trump twice asked Israel to stop the bombardments, and Israel did not, in complete defiance of the president's request.
The ambassador described Trump's proposal as problematic but workable, adding that it should be common sense to implement a ceasefire even without it having been stipulated in the document. Pinkas, who lives in Tel Aviv, said the general mood in Israel was still one of anxiety.
It's dejection, it's still devastation, it's still agony.
But Trump's pitch is giving the people some hope to cling to, and Pinkas describes Israelis as aligned with the US president. Under the terms of US President Donald Trump's 20-point peace plan unveiled early last week, Hamas has to release all of the hostages in exchange for Palestinian prisoners held in Israeli jails. Notably, Israel and Hamas have begun mediated peace negotiations this week in the Egyptian Red Sea resort of Sharm el-Sheikh to build on the proposal. Trump said on October 5th that everybody has pretty much agreed to the terms, but no deal has been officially struck. Qatar on October 7th said that there are significant difficulties in implementing Trump's Gaza ceasefire plan, despite the agreement of all parties. Qatari Foreign Ministry spokesman Majed Al-Ansari noted that many aspects of the plan need clarification, and negotiations have resumed in Sharm el-Sheikh. According to him, negotiations on the plan resumed on October 7th in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt, and previous meetings lasted about 4 hours. They were detailed and intense, aimed at identifying obstacles to the effective implementation of the ceasefire. Al-Ansari stressed that Qatar seeks to advance the US plan, stop the war in Gaza, end the Israeli occupation, and ensure the delivery of humanitarian aid. Special attention is paid to the rapid creation of a practical and implemented system that will be supported by all parties. An important condition for the official end of the conflict, according to the spokesman, is the transfer of hostages, as the US directly links the ceasefire to their release. Al-Ansari also reminded that the Hamas office in Doha has been part of Qatar's mediation mechanism since 2006. Qatar, along with the US and Egypt, continues its mediation efforts between Hamas and Israel, trying to achieve a lasting ceasefire and prevent further escalation. He stressed that the future of the Palestinian people must be determined solely by the Palestinians themselves. US President Donald Trump pledged to ensure Israel holds to Gaza ceasefire after hostages are freed. Trump, when asked how he could assure Arab partners that Israel would not resume military operations once all captives are released, said,
"Well, the primary guarantee is once this deal happens, if it does happen, look, they're in negotiations right now, we are going to do everything possible. We have a lot of power, and we're going to do everything possible to make sure everybody adheres to the deal."
Meanwhile, European leaders marked the second anniversary of the October 7th attacks with tributes and calls for peace. Taking to his X handle, French President Emmanuel Macron wrote,
2 years after the unspeakable horror of Hamas terrorism, the pain remains deep. We stand in solidarity with all the victims, including 51 of our fellow citizens.
His words were echoed by British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, who condemned the brutal, cold-blooded torture of Jews in their homes.
Since that awful day, so many have endured a living nightmare.
Alongside European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, both leaders called for the immediate release of all hostages and a ceasefire.
Our priority in the Middle East remains the same: release the hostages, surge aid into Gaza, and a ceasefire that can lead to a lasting and just peace as a step towards a two-state solution.